Welcome back, everyone. I wanted to highlight these reads that I enjoyed in September. They're kind of a little bit all over the board, again, per usual. So I think we'll just kind of jump right in. I want to like pum pum pum. Let's see if we can knock these out. First one up is Hyperspeed by Lily James. This is a first by Lily James. I've never read anything else by her. I'm actually not sure if this might be her debut novel, which I really enjoyed. So this is a sci-fi racing, sci-fi racing romance. It's kind of like think F1 formula in space. Okay, it's got two things that I'm kind of like on the fence about: space and F1 racing. I actually don't mind racing reads, and I don't mind certain space reads. So it's just like sometimes they have to be really good to hold my attention. Let's just say that. So what I like about this is that it's not really, the space makes sense without being too technical, and then the F1 just gives it, or that the racing, I should say, that racing aspect just gives it that nice little extra drama, because racers, come on, let's be serious, are drama. They love the octane fuel, full force. They have to like live on the edge kind of thing, right? It's like their literal job. Without, if they don't love that, then why are they there? But we have Kai, who's a human. He's a veteran racer. He's like known throughout the racing world. He's won a few cups. Like he's wants to make sure that he stays on top of his game. And then we've got this new rookie, Rev, joining the scene. He is an alien. And Rev is actually a part of an alien group that's kind of been on the brink of extinction. So it's very rare for any species that Rev's a part of to be so openly in such a dangerous job. There are really good reasons why Rev is really kind of closed off from everyone. Kai is he kind of comes across as kind of like a jerk when they first meet. He doesn't mean to, but he saw that Rev did like this really kind of reckless move, and he's like, "You're gonna get yourself and other people hurt out there." Like he's like, "I've seen this before," and he didn't say that, but basically in his mind, he's seen something similar take out someone that he knows and respected before. And so he's just kind of like, I don't like people who are basically like not rule breakers per se, but like that push things to the edge. He doesn't want anyone to be reckless or dangerous out there. He wants to go out and have a clean race. And then Rev is there to shake things up. He's always putting this pressure on himself to be top, cunning. He wants to prove that his race isn't weak. That's not the reason kind of that they are on this brink of extinction. And also he wants to be kind of in a way a role model for others growing up. So it's actually a very long slow burn, which I enjoy, because these guys, they bring their drama to the track, they bring their drama, and then they of course got some PR stunts, and they slowly peel away the layers and kind of see behind the mask a little bit. Rev starts to kind of see Kai as a safe space. Kai slowly starts to like realize that he may be kind of stuck in a rut a little bit, which might be why he's like been pushing against Rev so much. These guys have like the chemistry, the spark, but it takes them a while to like act on it. I like that. I think it's very well done. Kai does have a decent heart for all of his like kind of dickish moves, for lack of a better word. We get to see behind the scenes a little bit more, because we get the POV from both of these guys. But if you are into racing and you're like, I don't know about the space aspect of it, give this one a shot. Or vice versa, if you like space but you're not sure about racing. I think this one can be enjoyed by anybody who just likes some slow burn drama between two rivals. It's not an enemies to lover, it's a rivals to lovers. And I think that's a fine distinction to make, but they're not really enemies in any sense. They're just rivals. They're rivals on the track. They're rivals for the winning spot, and that kind of like fuels the fire too. So we've got high drama, fast races, and then like this like slow burn that heats up so nicely. It was just really fun. Turns out there's like a lot of slow burns going out there lately, because we got Smokescreen by Sam Burns. This one, almost no spice in this book, but it's setting it up for future stories. It is first in a new series for an urban fantasy. You've got Flynn, who is a human born of a vampire. So he's kind of like this like oddball out. He knows of the supernatural world for obvious reasons. His mother's actually, they call them the senator, but she's like in charge of the vampires in the Bay Area. And then you've got Davin, who is fairly recently turned vampire from Ireland. There's kind of like some troubles regarding his turning. And so, as a way to kind of like calm the flames, he's been sent to the Bay Area. And then Flynn's mother is like, you know what? My son is kind of just coasting by. And I think Davin, is lonely. So she kind of skillfully makes these two partners in a way. Flynn is a private investigator. He's actually quite good at private investigating, but he has no drive to like get clients or to make money. He's like skirting by on like ramen noodles and like 3-day-old t-shirts, which is silly because he actually comes from wealth. Like he grew up with a silver spoon in his mouth. His mother does have money. That being said, though, there's a little, I don't want to say tension because there's obvious love between mother and son, but she really just wants to see him like succeed where he's kind of like dragging his feet. And so she kind of gives him an ultimatum that pushes Davin, who works in security. So like tangentially connected, but not quite the same. And so Davin's supposed to start up this security business. Like if you need to put up cameras or anything like that around your house, they kind of work together. So all of this is to say that these two are kind of figuring out this new business partner relationship while there is a murder investigation going on in the background that Flynn is heavily investigating because it deals with vampires, and he's trying to keep the local cops who he does have some relationship with because he somehow always seems to find himself investigating something that comes across their plates. It's just kind of like a really fun, witty dialogue, great characters. There's some extra side characters that are also very well built up. So I just really enjoy this world that they've created here. Like I said, if you're an urban fantasy lover, or even if you kind of like some, like the whodunits, this is a good one to pick up. I don't know if this one's really a slow burn or not, but it does walk a little bit on the dark side, called Creep by K.A. Merikan. I don't think any K.A. Merikan book can really be called not dark. They either ride that line or they're just full in. But this is a second in a series, and it follows the member Creep. I do think you could read this one on its own. I don't think you have to have read the one before it. I do enjoy the one that came before. So if you want to if you're one of those that has to read in order, by all means, I think you'll enjoy the series. Just make sure you check the trigger warnings because K.A. Merikan does have, along with the dark, they do throw in some trauma. So you might want to check that out. Just make sure it's right for you. But Creep is a biker. He's kind of like solitary. He had a really traumatic childhood, and as a result of that, he's very not good with people. He does not really kind of understand interactions all that well. And even though he's part of this club, and they do like kind of value him for his like stalker-ish tendencies, he also like is very much still a part of it. One day he comes across this guy Angel, and Angel doesn't really know that Creep exists, but Creep sees him and is like, damn, that guy is really pretty, and he stalks him. Angel's kind of always falls for dudes who are not very nice, for bad dudes. And one of the times Creep is watching Angel, he notices an interaction that's not great between Angel and essentially like an ex. And there's a good balance between the characters with their gray morals and then the soft light parts. Angel's used intimacy as a way of getting things from partners. So it's kind of always been like transactional for him. Like, yeah, I may give you my body, but like you give me protection or you give me money or, I need a place to crash kind of a thing. And Creep does not want that. And like he wants to make sure that if they are together, Angel knows it's because he just wants him. Like there's no like strings tied to it, which I really really appreciated. So these guys kind of have to learn to communicate with each other because Creep has kind of twisted ways of like expressing himself. He feels like he doesn't really deserve a lot of things. So Angel's got to figure out like how Creep ticks in a way, and then Creep's got to like figure out essentially how people like connect the dots because Angel is not neurodivergent. The Creep is really working on how to show Angel that he cares outside of the bedroom. And then Angel does actually really catch on to Creep's little idiosyncrasies and learn how to communicate back with what he needs. So it's just really good. There's, you know, a little bit of danger, a little bit of violence, along with, you know, the usual KA American hot spicy scenes. But yeah, I really think these characters were kind of special, and so I think I might have also liked it a touch more than the first in the series. If you like the MC bikers, dark morally gray characters that still somehow have like a decent moral compass on their hands, this is definitely one to pick up. Okay. I know everyone's obsessed with hockey romances, and look, I've read my fair share too, but I'm a little burnt out, although I will be watching Heated Rivalries because I'm excited to see that show take off as much as it is. But I've been like wanting other sports to kind of have their heyday. And Becca Seymour's Full Tilt highlights rugby. I have read, I would say, I don't know, a good handful of rugby books. This one is definitely one of my favorites, and it's actually one of my favorite Becca Seymour books in a while. We have Camden, who is a closed-off, grumpy captain of a rugby team. He's really well known in the rugby world. Again, they've got some championships, I believe. He's like on the edge of kind of like retirement. He has some history with bad press, paparazzi, and then people selling stories when he thought that they were trustworthy. So he's got a whole bucket of trust issues. Doesn't like anything to do with PDA. Is worried about it coming back and then taking the focus off him and his rugby skills and his worth as a rugby captain. Brent slides in there as American in England as a tattoo artist. So Camden has like sleeves, you know, like a ton of tattoos, and his tattoo artist is moving on out, and Brent was working at this place and was recommended by his original tattoo artist to take over. Brent is crazy optimistic. He knows how relentless reporters and the media can be because he has a younger brother, unironically, in hockey. That's like a pretty big up and coming athlete. So he definitely gets where Camden's coming from. It's kind of nice that you have the sunshine grumpy dynamic going on between these two. Also, Brent's kind of like been traveling a lot. He's like not sure where he puts down roots or what feels like home to him. And I really liked how like as Camden and Brent spend time together, Camden becomes that sense of home. Like there's a scene where they go back to America to visit Brent's family, and his mom's like, "When are you gonna come back?" And he's like, "Mom, I'm doing really good where I'm at. Like, I think I might stay there for a while." So it's like it's kind of nice to like while Camden like slowly starts to like realize that Brent is someone he can trust and be himself fully around. Brent is this feeling of like where I belong is finally settling down. Not just in a specific area, but with this specific person. I thought this was really sweet. I will say, at one point, really worried that Camden was going to get in his way because he's so freaking stubborn. And I was like, don't you do this to me, Becca. And luckily Camden is smart enough that he did not get in his way. So it's a really low angst kind of story, but I just thought it was like full of heart and great characters. Lastly, also, I would say on the darker side, we've got Little Red Riding Hood by T.J. Rose. So this is a retelling of the fairy tale. I love fairy tale retellings. It's a little bit darker because we've got Red, who has kind of grown up in the courts as like a nobody, but he somehow like gotten under the wing of the huntsman. So he's like a really good archer. The queen is terrible. There's famine everywhere. And she brings in Red and she's like, if you go out and kill this person, the famine will be gone. So go out into the woods and kill this witch. So Red's got no choice. He has to go into the woods. He has terrible tracking skills. Of course, he comes across a wolf wildling, Whim, who is kind of shifter, but not really. The wildlings, they like do describe it a little bit differently, but I really like the take on the wolf. It's very unique while staying true to the story, if that makes sense. So it does feel like a Red Riding Hood story, but it's a very unique take on it. And I just thought the characters were really good. When Red first meets him, he calls him like a mongrel. He really does not care for the wolf at all. He doesn't trust him. Well, I mean, for maybe some good reasons, but also his lack of trust in anything not human is definitely comes from a place of fear. And I loved watching how, as they go through their adventures, as they journey through the woods, it changes and he fully starts to see the humanity peeking out in Whim. The heat and connection between Red and Whim feels very organically built. And I couldn't put the story down. It had me bespelled. Those were my top reads for September. I'd love to hear your thoughts on them. I'd love to hear what you've picked up. I'd love to hear what you've got your eye on. Put any comments down below. What you think of these, what you would like me to check out next. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will be back. We're going to wrap up 2025 pretty soon. Thanks, you guys, for watching, and I hope you guys take care. Bye now.